Our topic for today is this from God? Red and green flags in Christian dating. Join me as I dive into the world of Christian dating and try to uncover the red flags that might be hiding in plain sight. When it comes to Christian dating, we often focus on finding someone who shares our faith and values, but in the process, we might overlook some warning signs that could lead to unhealthy relationships. Recognizing these red flags is critical to building a strong and healthy partnership. In Christian dating, there's often a lot of pressure to find someone who shares our faith, our values, and our goals. This pressure can lead us to overlook some major warning signs. We might ignore our gut feeling or dismiss concerns because we don't want to be single anymore, but ignoring these signs can lead to a much more headache and pain down the road. Faith and expectation can also play a big role in obscuring warning signs. We might think, what a great guy, and he's a Christian, so I can overlook some of these flaws. But is that the truth? Everyone has flaws, and no one is perfect. It's essential to have realistic expectations and to prioritize our own emotional and spiritual well-being. The Christian community often emphasizes the importance of finding someone who shares our faith. Why that's critical is not the only factor to consider. We need to look beyond someone's faith and evaluate the whole person. This includes their character, their value, and their behavior. So what are some of those red flags we should be watching out for? A lack of communication is a huge one. If someone is consistently avoiding conversation or shutting down when you try to talk about important issues, then that's just a major warning sign. Differing values are another significant red flag. If you and your partner have fundamentally different views on life, it can create tension and conflict in relationship. Now let us pause here and look at some Bible verses on marriage. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 24. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. Love is patient, love is kind. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Hebrews 13:14. Marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure, for God will judge the adulterer and all the sexual immoral. Now let's continue with our discussion. Unhealthy attachment behaviors are also a major concern. If someone is overly clingy or possessive, that can be a sign of deeper issues. On the other hand, if someone is consistently distant and unresponsive, that can just be as problematic. Prioritizing mutual respect, trust, and communication is essential in any relationship. Let's take a real life example. I know someone who is in a Christian relationship where the guy seems perfect. He was a great Christian guy and they had a lot in common. But as they dated, she started noticing some major red flags. He was controlling, dismissive, emotionally unavailable. She ignored these signs because she thought he's a Christian, so he might be a good guy. But eventually she realized that she deserved better and ended the relationship. In retrospect, she realized that she had ignored some significant warning signs. She wished she had prioritized her own emotional and spiritual well-being and evaluated relationship more critically. So what can we learn from this example? Prioritizing our faith and values is essential, but that's not enough. We need to evaluate the whole person and prioritize our own emotional and well-being. To wrap up things, the key red flags to watch out for in Christian dating are lack of communication, differing values, and unhealthy attachment problems. These signs can help you avoid unhealthy relationships and build a strong, faith-centered partnership. If you have had any experiences with red flags in Christian dating, I did love to hear about them. Love to hear about them. Comment with your stories and thoughts, and be sure to check out my next videos on relationship advice for more tips and insights. Remain blessed.